let's talk about the scariest part of love, or the scariest time of love, or the beginning stages of relationship. And I feel like it's when you first meet someone and you get their number or their info, their Instagram, and you start talking with them, and you feel this high, and you feel on edge whenever you send a reply to a message and you wait for their message. You're getting a lot of adrenaline, and you also feel really scared and angry and resentful if you don't hear back from someone within an hour or so, or if you text someone and they don't respond till the next morning, or they didn't respond that night, and you're just almost angry at yourself and the other person, and then you start to even hate the beginning stages of dating and finding love. Where is all this anxiety coming from? Because I still feel it to this day, and I had to ask myself, where is this coming from? I had to sit with it recently for a while, and I still experience this anxiety currently with a couple people I'm talking to. Where is this coming from? Why do I feel so anxious in the beginning stages of a relationship, an intimate relationship? Because a friendship, I don't feel any anxiety in the beginning stages of a platonic relationship. I don't care if that person responds to me or doesn't. My anxiety, and probably yours too if you're watching this, is coming from that initial stage of the relationship. There's crazy highs and crazy lows. Where is this anxiety coming from? And for me, I realized because I really want a particular outcome, and because this outcome would mean something to my life, it would bring something to my life, it would mean something to me, it would mean something about me. So I have this vision of, if I get this person to like me, to be with me, their approval, then it's proof that I am as great as I think I am. Right? I think a lot of us, we really do ground our identity in the approval and proof of our experience. Right? I think I'm cool because of, then you have your reasons why. And I realized for me, where I was getting so much of my confidence and identity was the approval of a romantic interest. If I get their approval, I feel really good. And if I didn't, I would feel really bad. But I noticed in the beginning stages where I feel like I got someone's number because they're interested, I feel really high. And then I get really anxious when texting them because I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up. And if I mess it up, I'm not as cool as I think I am. So much of the anxiety is coming from identifying with the outcome that you're expecting and what this outcome means. Like, I really want this person to like me. I want to be with this person because it means I'm cool. And perhaps I think another aspect of it for me is I start envisioning in the beginning stages when I'm texting someone, I start envisioning the things that I'm going to do with this person. I barely know them. I start putting on traits about this person. This is what's called the halo effect. I start putting on positive attributes about them when I don't even know the person. And then sometimes what happens, this happens to me in the past, I get to know the person, I'm kind of like let down because who they are is not what I envisioned. And I feel like if I settle for who this person really is, then that must say something about me. So having these expectations, unrealistic expectations of people, or putting on traits onto someone that doesn't even exist, is very unhealthy. And expectation is the cause of a lot of suffering. We really want something, and we envision when we get this thing, it's going to bring so much joy, and when it doesn't, it causes suffering, and we look for the next thing. I really think so much of my anxiety when it comes to the beginning stages of a relationship also is I'm worried to mess up. I'm worried to say or do something wrong. And if I get rejected, that must mean I'm wrong or I'm bad. I'm so in my head about what I should or shouldn't say that I end up saying sometimes the wrong thing. Or I don't say the thing that is true, and I have to almost put on a little bit of a front. And then when I get around that person, I can't let go of the front because that's how I got the approval. The beginning stage of a relationship, the texting, the getting to know someone, is the hardest part. And it's so nerve-wracking for me that I will sometimes just rather be alone and hide away from getting to know someone. For you, the beginning stage of a relationship may be filled with anxiety for other reasons. But for me, it's very weird that I just feel like I'm walking on eggshells when I'm getting to know someone. And I've overcome this quite a bit to where I feel more healthy and more calm and relaxed, whether the interaction or the relationship goes in any sort of direction, whether it goes, I don't even want to say positive, because I realize that's unhealthy, right? If I think a relationship is going in a positive direction, that means I'm still wanting a particular outcome. Or if relationship is going negative, that means it's going away from this outcome that I want. I'm more content with the relationship going in any direction, whether that's friendship. I never thought I would say that. Whether it's friendship, whether it is romantic, or whether not, I'm more content than I have been. And that's allowed me to be more authentic in my communication, because I'm not so worried about being rejected, because I just don't care about being rejected anymore. And I realize so much of my anxiety is coming from me walking around with this person, and this person almost being like my trophy. And I'm getting validation from other people because of the validation I have from this one person. And I got to a stage, and where I'm at currently is like anytime I'm feeling a negative emotion, I just look at it, I'm like, how can I neutralize this? How can I just feel at ease right now? Because life is so short, and how much time I've wasted in anxiety. Right now I'm working in the city that I grew up in. The city that I was born in is the city I'm working in. And I just have so many moments where I'm like, man, I remember when I was a kid, and that feels like yesterday, and I feel like so much time has passed. And I'm asking myself, where have I wasted my time? And it's mental masturbating about the future. I never really ruminate in the past. The only time I do that is if I feel like I made a mistake while I'm texting someone. But for the most part, I'm not one to ruminate in the past. I'm always looking in the future, trying to get excited about something, always trying to do something, always trying to get to the next thing. I mean, I kind of honestly rushed home just to be able to press play and get this going, get this video going, because I had something on my mind. I rushed to my favorite food place just to get my favorite drink, and I couldn't wait to get off work so I can go get my favorite drink. So I realized I waste so much time in anxiety trying to get to somewhere other than now. And anytime I feel myself being anxious or on edge, I ask myself, how can I just be content? How can I neutralize this? And what I'm realized is that I get to a place where I'm okay whether something happens or if it doesn't. And because I feel so good, I tend to get better outcomes. But I also have to remind myself not to get attached to those outcomes, because you could do something, you can learn meditation, let's say, and you become more centered within yourself, and you start getting more attraction from other people. People start to get good vibes from you, And then you're like, oh my gosh, I always have to feel content and centered within myself. I have to always meditate. And you start clinging on to this, the habit. A lot of people do this with exercise. They lose weight because they exercise. They get some approval and attention from it, and they feel like they always have to exercise, or they can't indulge in pleasurable foods. I suffer from this as well. So really, if you look at, for me, the anxiety, the beginning stages of relationship and the anxiety it causes is me expecting something from the future. I expect, if this person likes me and we're in a relationship together, that I'm gonna feel so good and that I'm always gonna feel good. That approval is what's gonna make me feel good, and I'm always gonna feel good. It almost energizes me to think that I'm gonna get approval, and that approval must mean I'm cool. And getting that approval is the drug. And the more I let go of external approval or just wanting something outside of myself, and I learn to become more content now. If you learn to become content now, you immediately have to eliminate, cut off, suffocate any need for anything external, right? It just wouldn't matter. If you feel so good now, or at least content, or being content with not feeling content, then you're not going to need anything external ever, whether that's approval, money, validation, drugs, alcohol, Netflix, social media. If you feel so content now, there's no need for anything external to feel good. And one thing I realized too, as with the human body and the psyche, it's going to come to an end eventually, meaning you're going to die. And anything that you have taken or gained, you're going to lose. That approval, you're going to lose. That money, you're eventually going to lose. That person that you've been in a loving relationship with, either you're going to die first or they're going to die first. Regardless, you're going to have to let go eventually. So why not just let go now? With that, I'm going to leave you with that. Why not just let go now? Why not just let go of wanting something, waiting to feel content? I'll feel content when I get this thing, when I get this approval, when I get this fame, money, recognition. Why not let go of that now? Because you can't take it with you. Peace.